Good morning, students. Today is the biology class for the 11th, and there is the I will discuss the topic. There is the digestion and the absorption, and this topic is in your syllabus. And in this chapter, I will discuss only the. I will give a brief idea about the digestion and absorption in the human beings. In human. So before the digestion, I will discuss something. There is the digestion, but which substance are going to the digest? Which substance? So in the human beings, or in case of the in our environment, there is the microorganism. Number of organisms are there, out of which some are the microorganisms, some are the microorganism, microorganism, or human beings. There are the number of organisms are available in the atmosphere, and these organisms required some components for their survival. For their survival, and these required component is known as the most important component is the food material. The food, that is the food, and this food material available in the atmosphere either in the form of carbohydrates, or in case of the in the form of protein, or in the form of the fat molecule, these food material. And from these food material are available, but these food material whatever is available, these are not in the simple form. So these are the simple, these are available in the complex form. So for getting the food energy, means this food material provide the energy for the growth, for the movement of the individual, or for the development of the individual. So there is the complex food material, and these complex food material are not digested as such in the human beings or organism. So there is the process of digestion of these food material into the simpler form, so that these food material can be absorbed in the human beings, and further this provide the energy for the development, for the movement, or any biological activities. So that's why there is the digestion. So digestion is the process of the breakdown of the complex food material, that is the complex food material, into the simpler form. Okay. So in the human beings there is the digestion, and for the digestion there is the complete system is there, that is known as the digestive system. That is completely known as the digestive system. Digestive system. And in the digestive system there are the number of enzymes are secreted, which help in the digestion of these complex molecules into the simpler form. And after this simpler conversion into the simpler form, they are going to available, they are going to the assimilate, they are going to the absorb from the blood, so that this synthesized food material, this simple form of the food material, can reach to the each cell with the help of the blood. So there is the digestive system, and in case of the human digestive system, I will discuss with a simple diagram, a diagrammatic representation. And there is the diagrammatic representation. In the diagrammatic representation, I will draw a schematic draw of the alimentary canal. Alimentary canal. And in the whole process of the digestion, that this include the first point, that is the ingestion. After that, there is the process is the digestion. After that, there is the assimilation, and last one is the process is the egestion. So by these process, egestion, digestion, assimilation, and egestion, ingestion, digestion, assimilation, and egestion, by this process the digestion of the food material, complete digestion of the food material takes place. And after the digestion of the food material, there is the some byproducts, some unuseful substances, that are the undigested food material, are going to release from the body, outside of the body. So there is a diagrammatic representation, and in this diagrammatic representation, the first is the mouth. In the first part of the alimentary canal is the mouth. After that, there is the esophagus. Next, there is the stomach, and after that there is the small intestine. Small intestine, and last one is the large intestine. And in the last, that is the rectum. Rectum and cloaca. So there is a process of the digestion takes place, and in the digestion means in the process of digestion intake, first step is the intake of the food material, and when the intake of food material takes place, that is known as the digestion process. This digestion, what is the digestion? This is the intake of the food material, and when the intake of food material, so first step, the food is entered into the mouth. When food enter into the mouth, there is the saliva secretion takes place. Saliva secretion, and this saliva having the enzyme that is known as the salivary amylase. Salivary amylase. This salivary amylase help in the digestion of the starch molecule, that is the inside the present inside the food material in the form of starch. This salivary amylase convert the starch molecule into the maltose. Approx 30% of the starch is going to the 30% starch is going to hydrolyzed. Hydrolyzed means there is the hydrolysis takes place, that is the breakdown of the molecule, and in the presence of salivary amylase, the starch is 30% of the starch is going to break down into the simplest form, that is known as the maltose. So first step of the digestion takes place in the salivary in the mouth, that is with the help of the enzyme, that is the salivary amylase, and this salivary amylase is also known as the ptyalin. So the another name is the salivary amylase is the ptyalin. So in the first step, when the digestion takes place, that is the intake of the food material, that is the mouth, and in the mouth there is the salivary gland is present, and from the salivary gland there is the secretion of the salivary amylase, and this salivary amylase help in the digestion of the starch. There is the approx 30% of the starch is going to the digest into the simplest form, that is the maltose. After that, remaining food material from the mouth pass into the through the esophagus and come into the stomach. The food material is going pass into the through the esophagus and reach into the stomach. This is the food material. So when the food material is present, food material is mixed with the saliva, that in the mouth, that food material is known as the bolus. There is the one term is there, that is the bolus. This bolus is the food material in the mouth which is mixed with the saliva, that is known as the bolus. So now this bolus is moved through the esophagus and reach to the stomach, and when this reach into the stomach, there is the also the some enzymes are secreted, that is known as the gastric juice, and in the gastric juice there is the number of enzyme and chemicals are secreted. The one is the HCl, another one is the mucus, and last one is the pepsin, and also renin. From the stomach these are the secreted, and when the food reach into the stomach, there in the stomach there is the acidic nature because the presence of the HCl. HCl is present, HCl is secreted from the lining of the mucus, and that's why this HCl provides the acidic media, and due to the acidic media the gastric juice is in the acidic nature, and when the food is mixed with the gastric juice, at such time this food material is known as the chyme. So when the food material reach into the stomach, that reached food material is known as chyme, because this is mixed with the acidic chemical, that is the HCl, or we can say this mixed with the gastric juice, and the bolus in the mouth. From the stomach, the lining of stomach release the some enzymes. There is the pepsin, and this pepsin is released in the form of inactive form, that is the pepsinogen. There is the enzyme which is released in the form of inactive form, pepsinogen. This inactive form is converted into the active form, which is when it come in contact with the HCl. When it come in contact with the HCl, this pepsinogen, this inactive form of the pepsinogen is converted into the active form, that is the pepsin. And this pepsin helps in the breakdown of the food material. That is the which type of food material? Pepsin. Pepsin is responsible for the breakdown of the proteins. Proteins into the peptones and proteases. Peptones or dipeptide. Protein, peptones, this pepsin, this is the active form, and this pepsin help in the digestion of the protein molecule into the peptones and the dipeptides. Okay. And there is the also present of the HCl, and there is the HCl, this provide the acidic media. First thing, this also help in the killing of the bacteria inside the stomach. Another thing, this HCl help in the conversion of the inactive form of the pepsinogen into the pepsin. Apart from this, there is the acidic media inside the stomach is the present, and this acidic media can harm to the lining of the stomach. So to prevent this lining, the stomach lining, there is the secretion of the mucus. Mucus is also secreted, and this mucus help in the prevention of the lining of the stomach from the acidic nature from the HCl. Okay, so after that the digestion of the food material is takes place in the stomach. After that the food material is passed into the small intestine, and this small intestine is divided into the three parts. The first part is the duodenum. Duodenum. Next is the jejunum. Jejunum. And last one is the ileum. So there is when the food material is come into the stomach from the stomach, after the digestion of the food material, some are not completely digested. That food material, this food material is once come into the small intestine, that is in the duodenum. And when the food material reach into the duodenum, at that time, the duodenum, this is the part of the intestine, small intestine. At that time, some intestinal juice are secreted, and also there is some pancreatic juice. There is the pancreas is also connected with the duodenum, small intestine. This pancreas is a leaf-like structure, and this release the pancreatic juice. And apart from this, there is also in the pancreatic juice, this duodenum is also connected with the liver. This duodenum is also connected with the liver and the gallbladder. So there is this structure is the liver, and there is the gallbladder. So when the food material reach into the duodenum, at that time intestinal juice is secreted, that is the part of the small intestine, and similarly at the same time there is the secretion of the pancreatic juice, that is the enzyme from the pancreas. So from the pancreas, the pancreatic juice is secreted, and that pancreatic juice is the trypsin and chymotrypsin. This trypsin and chymotrypsin help in the digestion of the proteins, or this help in the digestion of the peptones and the dipeptide, which are placed into which comes in from the stomach to the duodenum in the simplest form, and its simplest form is the amino acid. So the simplest form of the protein is the amino acid, and this amino acid is help in the bodybuilding or help in the growth of the individual. So after that, when the pancreatic juice release the trypsin and the chymotrypsin into the duodenum, and there is the liver, and this liver is responsible for the synthesis of the bile juice. The synthesis of bile juices takes place inside the liver and their storage takes place in the gallbladder. After the synthesis, the bile juice is going to store into the gallbladder, and after that this gallbladder release the bile juice into the duodenum. So there is the one tube is there, one tract is there, that is this tract, and this the tract where the hepatic duct, that is the liver duct, and the pancreatic duct join together, and this duct is known as the hepatopancreatic duct. This duct where the place where the duct of the liver and the pancreas joined together, this duct is known as the hepatopancreatic duct. Hepatopancreatic duct means from this the bile juice is also coming from the gallbladder, and there is the pancreatic juice, and also from the intestinal juice. There the lining of the intestine is present, and intestinal juice is also secreted from the intestinal juice, that is the amylase, lipase, sucrase, lactase, dipeptidase. These are the enzymes which are secreted from the intestine. So in the short term, we can say the complete digestion of the food material, whatever come from the stomach to the duodenum, means the complete digestion of food takes place in the duodenum. So because the undigested protein, whatever the undigested protein is come into the duodenum, that is digested with the help of trypsin and chymotrypsin. This convert that undigested protein, peptones or dipeptide into the amino acid. There is also the dipeptidase is releases. This dipeptidase convert the dipeptide into the amino acid, that is the simplest form. Apart from this, there is the amylase. This amylase is also helpful in the synthesis, also helpful in the conversion of the starch into the simplest form of the fat molecule, simplest form of the carbohydrate molecule, so that the absorption of that carbohydrate takes place. Lipase, this lipase, there is the secretion of the lipase. This help in the breakdown of the fat molecule. But there is the fat molecule in case of the fat molecule as such does not digest with the help of lipase. So before the digestion of the fat molecule, there is the important thing, the bile juice is secreted. This bile juice help in the emulsification. There is the one thing, emulsification. There is the one thing, that is the emulsification. Emulsification takes place when bile juice help in the emulsification of the fat molecule, and this emulsification help in the conversion of the large fat molecule, large insoluble fat molecule into the small globular soluble molecule. Emulsification is the process of the conversion of the large insoluble fat molecule into the soluble fat molecule, small soluble fat molecule. So with the help of bile juice, this fat is going to the converted into the emulsified, that is the conversion of the fat into the soluble fat molecule, and after that the conversion, this fat molecule is digested with the help of the lipase. Apart from this, there is the sucrase, the secretion of the sucrase. This also, there is the carbohydrate. In the carbohydrate, there is the disaccharide, monosaccharide and polysaccharide. Number of sucrose is there, and sucrose is converted with the help of sucrase. So complete digestion, there is the duodenum in the small intestine. Is in the duodenum, the complete digestion of the food takes place. So overall, this is the pattern of the digestion, and after that, there is the duodenum. After there the digestion means in the duodenum. From the duodenum, there the intestinal juice is secreted or any enzymes are secreted. After that, no enzyme is secreted for the digestion of the food material. Means after the digestion in the duodenum, some digested food is passed into the alimentary canal for the absorption, and also along with there is the undigested food is also passed. So from the duodenum, after the digestion, there is the jejunum and ileum of the small intestine, and the food material is absorbed. there is the food material, the digested food material is going to the absorb in the blood, and blood help in the transportation of that food material to the each and every cell, so that each and every cell can get the energy. And after that, there is that undigested food material is passed into the large intestine, and in the large intestine there is the no digestion takes place, only absorption of the water takes place. So in the large intestine only absorption of the water takes place, and after the absorption there is the remaining the undigested food material passed into the cloaca through the rectum, and that is going to the pass out from the body. That is the complete process of the digestion in the human beings. So I have discussed there the 4 points: ingestion, that is the intake of the food material; digestion, that is the breakdown of the food material; after that there is the assimilation. Assimilation is the use of the absorption of that digested food material; and last one is the egestion. Egestion is the part of the food material that are going to be that are the undigested, that is the remaining part of the food material that is going to pass out from the body. So this is the complete process of the digestion. So okay, thank you.